Well, what's up, travellers? Welcome back to the channel. As J Aviation HQ here, welcome back to the channel today. So we have the model review of the Condor Airbus A330-900neo wearing the blue sea striped livery. This model released by JC Wings. Before though, go ahead and leave a thumbs up below. It'd be a great indication of how much you enjoyed today's video and of course the content here on this channel. Whilst you're there, if you want to come along and support my movement here on YouTube and of course my other array of social medias, go ahead and check out the subscribe button below. Click that to support me even further on this channel. Whilst you're there, go ahead and dim the bell icon, get the notifications on, set the notifications to all so you get all the notifications as soon as the videos go live onto the channel. Just mentioned my Instagram page. Go ahead and check that link in the pinned comment in the comments below, and of course in the description below. Thank you very much for any support shown on this video, and of course my other array of social medias in the near future, in advance of course. So as mentioned, the model review of this Condor Airbus A330-900neo wearing the blue striped livery. This model released by JC Wings in their April 2024 release, so that's very cool. This model here came in as, I believe, my third of the striped liveries for Condor Airlines. Of course, I do have the green and the gold / beige livery. Go ahead and check out the model review I did of the green striped livery top right corner right about now. Of course, that one by Gemini Jets. So now going into today's video, the model review of this Condor aircraft, and I'll read out some information about Condor Airlines as an airline, and then some information about the particular airframe we're looking at today, and then after that I'll be showcasing the box up close to the camera for you guys. So founded on December the 21st of 1955 and commencing operations on March the 28th of 1956, Condor is a German leisure carrier with its main hub at Frankfurt International Airport. They operate to multiple leisure destinations within Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Americas, which makes up North America, South America, and the Caribbean islands. According to planespotters.net, Condor has an aircraft fleet consisting of 53 aircraft, including 18 Airbus A330 widebodies, with all 18 being of the A330-900neo variant. In April of 2022, Condor Airlines announced a major change to its corporate identity, including an entirely new livery composed of distinctive stripes, in one of 5 different colors, alternating with white, and these striped colors being yellow, red, blue, green, and beige, or gold if you see it in that way. Yellow is to represent beach, red is for passion, blue is for sea, green is for island, and beige is for I believe it is the beach, I believe. No, the yellow I believe is sun, I believe. Either way, there'll be an overlay at the moment showing you what those stripes are representing. So very cool indeed, just in case I'm incorrect with that information. So going into some information about this particular airframe for you guys. This aircraft's MSN number or manufacturer serial number is 1958. This aircraft is a 6-year-old Airbus A330-900neo, of course a 941, because 41 is the Airbus designated code for Airbus built aircraft that are equipped with Rolls-Royce engines. This aircraft performed its first flight on February the 4th of 2020, wearing the test registration of Foxtrot Whiskey Yankee Papa, or F-WWYP, for those that aren't too familiar with the phonetic alphabet. This aircraft was built and produced in Toulouse, France, of course, the main plant for facilities where Airbus build their wide-body aircraft, including the likes of the 330 family and the 350 family. They do have the facilities for the narrow-body fleet as well, but of course they also have Hamburg in Germany for the narrow bodies as well. A fun fact for you guys, for those that didn't know already, they also share the facilities with ATR, the turboprop aircraft, the ATR 42s, 72s, and of course their freighters. So very cool. This aircraft is active on the network for Condor Airlines, wearing the registration of Delta Dash Alpha November Romeo Bravo, or D-ANRB, D-ANRB, for those that aren't familiar with the phonetic alphabet. Again, an Airbus A330-900neo that was delivered to Condor Airlines on September the 1st of 2023. This aircraft is configured into a layout which includes 30 of business class seats, 64 of the premium economy seats, and 216 of the economy class seats. This aircraft is equipped with two Rolls-Royce Trent 7000-72 engines, and this aircraft was ferried between Toulouse and Frankfurt in Germany, of course Toulouse in France, Frankfurt in Germany, between September the 2nd of 2023. As you can see, wearing the blue sea striped livery. And it's just a wee fun fact here, this aircraft was not taken up by Garuda Indonesia and was destined to be registered as Papa Kilo Golf Hotel had it been delivered to Garuda Indonesia. So very interesting information there. Of course, all of the links that I get my information from will be in the description below for the sources, of course. So that information out of the way, let's go ahead and showcase the box for you guys. So just like every other of the newer design of the JC Wings boxes, we have a nice kind of box here. Very nice. Here we have in the top left corner, we have the Condor Airlines logo there. Very nice indeed. I do like how it has a stylized condor. Of course, a condor is a bird, so very cool. Here we have the registration of the aircraft, Delta Dash Alpha November Romeo Bravo, with the German flag of Germany next to that. Very cool. Here we have the logo, or the logo mark of Airbus here. Very nice indeed. Here we have the typeface or word mark of Airbus. Here we have in this portion the logo of Condor Airlines, established in 1956, as mentioned before. Very cool. And of course with the stripes, of course with the beige livery, it is the beige stripes. Go ahead and check that model review out, top right corner, right up here, right about now. Very cool. Here we have where it states that this is an Airbus A330-900neo. Of course, neo standing for new engine option. The older variants, the 200 and 300, are now known as the CO, the current engine option. So very cool. Here we have the 2D rendering of this aircraft, looking fancy in the blue stripes. Here is the A330 text here, die-cast aircraft model in 1:1 scale. On this bottom panel we have the Condor logo on the top here, the die-cast aircraft model information, and the 1:1 scale information then with the A330 text there as well. The aircraft type designated titles, and of course the barcode with the item number on top of that. On the right panel we have the Condor Airlines logo here, the die-cast information here with the scale again, and of course the aircraft type designated titles and the aircraft itself. This information here is identical to the bottom panel here on the top panel, and on the left hand side it is identical to the opposite side, being the right hand panel. Very cool. On the back of the panel we have some different details here. The differences is that we have some diagrams of the aircraft on the side view here and the top view, and then down here we have the specs of the A330-900neo in the metric unit of measurement there. And then here we have some warning information in various languages, and then we have where it's made, of course, in China. Very nice indeed. I like how the JC Wings boxes are nice and detailed now, opposed to what they used to be like, especially with the orange boxes, because the orange boxes were for their sub-brand EW Wings, sort of for the releases that weren't licensed, if you get what I mean. I do have an exciting model that will be coming in my collection in the near future, that being the fantasy release of the red striped livery on the 330 Neo. So it'll be nice to see if JC Wings comes out with the yellow striped livery on the 330neo, because then it will then I will have all of the liveries on the 330-900neo. Of course, the red striped livery and the yellow striped livery aren't actually on in the fleet of the 330neo, so it would be nice to have them in my collection. So look out for that massive unboxing coming up very soon on the channel. So that is this portion done of the video done for you guys, the reading out of the information about the airline and the aircraft and the showcasing of the box. So let's go ahead and check out the model. And here is the absolutely stunning Condor Airbus A330-900neo released by JC Wings, wearing this blue striped livery. This model here released by JC Wings in their April 2024 release. In this portion of the video, I'm going to showcase the model up close to the camera for you guys, giving you some nice up close shots of the details on this aircraft, whilst giving you some insights about what some of the components do in the event of a flight. So let's go ahead and dive in straight into the review of the model. First and foremost, zooming right into the model for you guys and getting up close to the camera. Now, how good does this model look? Quite outstanding. I do quite like the striped liveries of Condor Airlines. I have 3 of them as of now. Yeah, 3 of them as of now. I've got 1 more coming in the mail very soon, which will be a fantasy livery, of course, the red one. My goal for my Condor 330neos is to get all of the colors at least once. So, of course, there is the green, the red, the yellow, and of course the beige, and of course the blue, which I do have right in front of you guys. But here we have the front portion of the aircraft. Of course, the nose wheel did just fall out, so do bear in mind about that. But here we have at the forward part of the aircraft, we can see the nose cone there. That of course has the weather radar inside it. The weather radar is used to detect storms along the flight path of a given flight, give the pilots or the cockpit or people who's in the cockpit a visual indication of the rainfall intensity ahead of them and the possibility of turbulence as well. This enables the crew to navigate around any potential hazardous areas along the assigned flight plan for their flight. Very nicely done. Here, of course, is the raccoon mask around the cockpit windows there. Now seen on most of the Airbus aircraft these days. Of course, it was introduced on the Airbus A350 XWB program. That's, of course, the program. The raccoon mask there is used or is there to deflect any heat away from the perimeter of the window shields. Very nicely done. Below here we can see the pitot tubes just there. Now they are used to measure fluid velocity during a flight. Very nicely done. Here, of course, is the emblem of Condor Airlines, and of course the year that it was established, of course, 1956. Here we have the first of the cabin doors just there, the first of the cabin doors, the L1 boarding door there. Of course, the second one is further down the aircraft just there. Very nicely done. Here we have the angle of attack sensor just here, or AOA sensor there. That, of course, offers a visual indication of the amount of lift the wings are generating at a given airspeed or angle of bank. So very nicely done. Just showed you here the nose gear, of course, did just fall out, as you can see. I will fix that later on in the piece. But here we have the gear doors there. RB Romeo Bravo, the last 3 digits of the registration. The registration of this aircraft is Delta-Alpha November Romeo Bravo, the second of the Airbus 330neos that Condor received. They have 18 in their fleet, so very nicely done. Here we have the first of the antenna on top of the fuselage just there. And then we have the Condor word mark here. Very nicely done. Of course, the blue stripes here are to signify that this is represents C. Of course, in April of 2022, Condor announced a major change to their corporate identity, including an entirely new livery. So very nice. Of course, they compose of distinctive stripes in one of five colors, alternating with white. These being yellow for sun, red for passion, blue for sea, green for island, and beige or tan for beach. So very nicely done. Here we have the pedostatic system just here, and that is used to determine an aircraft's airspeed, Mach number, altitude, and altitude trend. So very nicely done. Just below the last of the cabin windows there, or it might be just to the top left of the letter R there. They are, they are the wing lights there. They illuminate light onto the wing during low light conditions, or in fact night conditions. So very nicely done. Here we have the landing light mounted into the wing just here. Now the requirement for this device here is to be turned on within 0 and 10,000 feet when the aircraft is airborne. It is one of the last things that you see be turned on before the aircraft starts to roll down the runway for its departure. And of course it is very brightly seen when landing into an active runway, so very nicely done there. Here we have the interior of this engine here, the number 1 engine, of course the Rolls-Royce Trent 7000-72 engine, looking rather nice. You can quite see there through the engine. Of course, I would say that they rotate, but when manually, of course. Here we have the emblem again of Condor Airlines, and established in 1956, as you can see on the bottom there. If you want the date, it was, of course, that was when it was commencing operations, March the 28th, 1956. But Condor Airlines was officially founded on December the 21st of 1955. Very nicely done there. And then we have some nice details on the exhaust of the engine here. Here we have the landing gear just here. As you can see, they do pivot on the gears and they do roll quite, they're quite stiff at the front, but they roll at the back. Very nice. Of course, the 330, any of the variants is known as the butter machine, as of course they do some really nice landings. Now here we have the details of the wing here. Of course, the front of the wings, we can see the slats just there. They fold down forward, of course, and there on the back of the wings here we see at the top here we can see the spoilers. They raise up when the aircraft's landing gear touch the runway when it's just landing in, or when the aircraft is going down the runway and they have to abort the takeoff. This is what these fold up to assist the braking or the slowing down, or sorry, the deceleration of the aircraft. There we go. And then here we have the flaps just here. They fold down to provide more lift to the wings there. Very nicely done. Now here at the end of the wing here we can see two little dots there. To the right side we can see the red navigation light, and to the left we can see the white strobe light. Now on the A330neo, the strobe lights are the LED lights. They flash twice in sequence. If this aircraft was a Boeing, and an easy way to identify whether it is a Boeing, that they would flash twice in sequence, just like the Dreamliner. Once in sequence, just like the Dreamliner, and of course the 777 as well. Dreamliner is more distinctive, as of course they are very bright, much like the A350, A330neo aircraft, the new gen aircraft. And then here we have the sharklet here of the A330neo. I'll try and get a nice focus on it for you guys. Doing a very mediocre job here. But here we have the interior of the sharklet here with the blue stripes, and I'll show you if I can perhaps There we go. The exterior of the shark that was with the Condor emblem there, and of course the established date there again. Now on the top of the fuselage we can make out here that we have a beacon light on top of the fuselage. Now the beacon light is there to give like a warning, much like a stop light on a traffic light, to anyone on the ground who is about to service the aircraft, that to give them the message that the engines are on and or about to be turned on. Once the beacon light is turned off, then it is of course safe to approach the aircraft. Very nicely done, and of course this is a mandatory device to be active when the aircraft is in active use, so very nicely done, and of course when in flight as well. Here we have the third of the doors, not so much a boarding door. This is the L3 door, more so an emergency exit door more than anything else. So very nicely done. Here we have the next of the antenna on top of the fuselage, just there. Here we have the first and perhaps the only one of the bottom antennas, just there. Here we have the SATCOM or Wi-Fi dome. This provides the IFE in-flight entertainment on board the aircraft. Of course, seen in the little TV screens behind each of the seats, of course. And another one of these antenna just here. Here we have the website of Condor Airlines, condor.com. Go ahead and check them out if you wish to. And of course, here we have the last of the cabin doors. I'll try and get a wee focus on the cabin door here. There we go. Very nicely done. And of course, this is where we have the aircraft's registration. Delta Alpha November Romeo Bravo, or D-ANRB, for those that aren't too familiar with the phonetic alphabet, of course. And then we have the flag of Germany right there, very nice. And then we have the tail plane or tail fin or vertical fin, whatever your preference is of wanting to call it. Very nicely done with the leading edge just there. Very nice. And then we have the emblem again of Condor Airlines with the established date, 1956, or year, of course. Then, of course, we have the elevators of the aircraft with of course this bit here that also provides the control or the pitch of the aircraft, especially at the back of the aircraft there. You can see that small grey or silver dot just there. There's also another one on the other elevator just in the middle of the shot, if you're able to pick it out just there. They are the logo lights or tail lights. As the name suggests, they light up the tail fin during low light conditions or of course night operations to give an identification to the ATC or anyone who is in the control tower of who the airline is. Can also be a marketing tool to advertise the airline when and landing into the airport or around the airport for plane spotters or the public alike who are wanting to perhaps fly the airline in due course. So very nicely done. And very nicely done. Here we have the APU of the aircraft, the APU exhaust. APU standing for Auxiliary Power Unit. Very nicely done. And I'm pretty sure just to the left here we have another one of an exhaust here. I'm not too sure what this is. I'll put this information in the bottom of the screen right about now for you guys. So very cool. Let's have a look at the opposite side of the aircraft momentarily before having a look at the bottom of the aircraft. Now the main difference is, of course, that's where the nose gear would have been. The nose gear is on at the bottom at the moment. I will fix that after the video has concluded. Now here we have the forward baggage compartment of this aircraft just here, looking rather nice. At the back of the aircraft or the rear of the aircraft we can see the rear baggage compartment just here. Here is where we would have the green navigation light opposed to the red one on the opposite side. Here is the interior of the shark that we saw beforehand. And then here is the exterior of the shark lip on this side of the wing, so very nicely done. Everything else is basically flipped around. Now the doors on this side of the aircraft are known as the R doors. So this is the R1, R2, R3, or R4. Of course, the letter R is to signify this is the right-hand side of the aircraft, other side being the left-hand side, which is why they're known as the L doors. L1, L2, L3, and L4. Very cool. Here is the number 2 engine. Let's have a wee look on the inside of it. Very nicely done. Now let's have a wee look at the bottom of the aircraft. Now here we have the nose gear door. That of course is where the nose gear would retract into or extend out of when landing into or departing an airport. Very cool. Here we have the beacon light on the bottom of the fuselage just here, and the stand hole for anyone who uses a stand on their models. I personally don't put a stand on my models, but each to their own, I guess. Here we have the outline of where the landing gear doors are, of course, just like the nose gear. This, of course, is where the landing gears retract into or stand out of when landing or departing an airport. Landing into or departing an airport. Here is the bottom of the engines just here, looking rather nice in the interior of the exhaust just there. Very cool indeed, and the bottom of the wings look rather nice. I'm quite a fan of the A330 mold by JC Wings. Not my favorite one, I would say. I think the goats in terms of my favorite mold would have to be probably entry models, if I were to say so myself. So very cool. AV400 do a very nice job as well, especially with those magnetic gears, the innovation that they have put in their models. It's very nice to see. Soon enough there will be the model review of the Corsair International A330neo, which should be the next one on the channel. Go ahead and check it out, top right corner right about now, if that has gone live or not. So very cool indeed. All that will be linked in the description below near the top of the description. Very cool indeed. And then here we have at the rear of the aircraft a nicely detailed APU entryway. Of course, this folds out to give the ground crew or engineers an easy access way to the APU for when they are needing assistance or provide assistance to it or fix some problems with it. Very nicely done. And that will pretty much do it for today's video, guys. So thank you very much for coming along and tuning into today's video, the review of this Condor Airlines Airbus A330-900neo. Released by JC Wings. Again, this was released in the April 2024 release. Do ignore the fact that the nose gear did kind of fall out before I could even showcase it. It is literally sitting right here. So I'll go ahead and fix that later when the video has concluded, as I mentioned before. But if you enjoyed what you saw in today's video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up below. It'd be a great indication of what you enjoyed in today's video. And of course, leave a comment below about what you enjoyed in today's video. If you have this model in your collection, let me know what you like about the model that you have in your collection. Leave any feedback in the comments below about what I can improve on in my model reviews moving forward, as I do have quite a few models to review in my collection. Soon enough there will also be the Scandinavian A350-900 released by JC Wings, one of my favourite models that I received in my most recent mega unboxing. Go ahead and check that mega unboxing in the top right corner right about now if you missed out on that, of course. If you enjoyed today's video and you want to come along and tune into more like this, and you want to support the channel even further, go ahead and consider subscribing below. And of course, whilst you're there, click the notification bell and of course select the all option to receive all the notifications of videos as soon as I go live onto the channel. If you want to go ahead and check out my social media channels, go ahead and scan the QR code you can see on the screen now. It'll lead you straight to my airport's Instagram page for all of the insights about my model collection, the photos, the ins and outs of my airport's operations, and very exciting news coming up very soon about my whereabouts of my website. So go ahead and check that out if you wish to, or you can go ahead and scan the QR code you can see right about now, which will lead you straight to my Linktree page with all of my links in one full place for easier access. But if you don't have the means to scan any of those QR codes I just mentioned a moment ago, there'll be some links in the description below for easier access as always. So that would do it for today's video, guys. So thank you very much for coming along and tuning in to this model review of this Condor Airbus A330-900neo released by JC Wings in this blue striped livery. If you enjoyed what you saw, you want to see some more content like this on the channel, soon enough on the end screen there'll be some options for you guys. On the left hand side would be my most recent video here on the channel. On the right hand side would be the full playlist of model reviews I've done so far here on the channel. In the middle will be where you can subscribe. But until next time, guys, fly safe, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.